What's up? What's good? What's happening with it? I am Epic, and you already know what this is Media Circus Online. So if you haven't already done so, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification button so that you can get all my videos whenever I drop them. But, anyways, this is my new video titled The Ghetto News with My Messed Up Point of View. So, let's get into it.
A Conatillo man is charged with the murder of his sister. El Paso Sheriff's investigators said 32-year-old Jose Manuel Guzman admitted to killing his sister after learning she had sex with another man. According to court.
Now, if this news isn't ghetto, I don't know what news is. You know, it is borderline backwards. This is something that you would expect to hear from somewhere like Arkansas, Louisiana, not California. Californians are not supposed to participate in this kind of behavior. But let's keep going.
Documents on February 2nd, Guzman beat his sister, Carla Chavez de Ortiz, with a baseball bat and a handheld electric massager in his apartment.
What kind of handheld electric massager was that? Was that for his pleasure or for hers? But I digress.
Officials say the siblings had a sexual relationship before the murder. We've been trying to learn more about Guzman.
ABC 7's Brianna Pelez spoke with Guzman's ex-girlfriend, who says she was shocked to learn about his sexual relationship with his sister.
Imagine if I would have stuck around.
Not only do you have an inappropriate relationship with your sister, but you're crazy enough to get mad when she decides to step out of that relationship and see another man that is not her brother. You're crazy, guy.
If that was me. Nobody suspects anything like that with somebody. I mean, they're your siblings. I wouldn't think of my siblings like that either.
This is the apartment Guzman lived with his sibling in.
That's the most low-budget apartment I've seen in I don't know how many years. You know, it don't even have a number plate on it. It's just somebody took some hand paint and went up there with a finger, dipped it in, and wrote apartment number 1 on it. That apartment makes me sad and a little depressed. So I can imagine how they felt living in it.
And left her lifeless. Hernandez says that during their 2-year-long relationship, they also lived together and that he was very protective of her. She said Guzman did not let her wear certain clothing like shorts or even use her cell phone. Hernandez said she suffered depression during her time with him. She says she was in disbelief to hear he was romantically involved with his sister.
That was so surprising because they would talk in the phone when I would be dating with them. And he did tell me about the sister in Guatemala and everything, but I didn't really get close to her.
But she says the murder was no surprise.
He has anger issues and he has jealousy issues, so I knew it was.
He also has mental issues because he was having a relationship with his sister. I reiterate, he was having an inappropriate relationship with his sister. That's crazy.
Gonna come. I didn't know it was gonna be with his own sister, but I knew it was gonna come one way or another.
Now, if this news isn't ghetto as hell, come on, man. Just let me know what you guys think. That's some ghetto-ass news. You have an inappropriate relationship with your sister. And like I said in my last video, these are news headlines, so hopefully it's a fair use and they can't strike me for the language being used because I am actually just using footage from news broadcasts. But let's go on. In this next video, we see what happens when the police doesn't restrain a suspect properly in the backseat of the car. And I'm guessing that they don't even have the barricade that separates the back from the front. But they learned a very valuable lesson from this situation and very lucky to be alive.
Tonight, an Oklahoma woman is in jail after she managed to slip out of her handcuffs in the back of a police car, obtain an AR-15, and open.
That AR is pretty chunky, man. I must admit. That's a nice little weapon right there. It looked like it's a tactical weapon by the length of its barrel. So shooting with any accuracy is very hard from a weapon like that. But let's see what she does.
Fire on sheriff's deputies, according to local police. The shocking moments were captured on the car's internal camera and police body cams. On Friday, Grady County Sheriff's deputies performed a welfare check on a woman found crawling around someone's yard while...
They should have already knew that she was crazy by the call. Somebody called in and said, somebody's crawling around my yard on her hands and knees, barking at me. So they should already call some kind of social worker there, somebody more capable to deal with this situation instead of putting her in the backseat of a car where she could have access to an unsecured weapon.
Barking, according to the charging documents filed in court. The woman identified herself as 36-year-old Rachel Zion Clay. Police handcuffed her and placed her in protective custody in the back of a police car, according to the court documents. But while deputies were outside the car taking statements from civilians nearby, Clay managed to slip out of her cuffs and access a console in the front seat labeled gun, the undersheriff said in an interview. They say she was then able to load a round into the chamber and fire outside the vehicle. Body camera footage.
See how she fired and then took cover like she was in war or something? Kind of looked like she'd done this before. But I doubt it. She's kind of crazy young. She ain't never been in war.
Released by police show moments
she just
shots
got very
ring out.
lucky with her shot.
Confusion as deputies try to figure out what just happened.
Look, the deputies, you could tell they've never been in a situation where they had to shoot some stuff up, like in the cities, because this guy just got shot at.
I'm hit right here.
And didn't even drop his clipboard. He didn't drop his clipboard. The other guy didn't drop his paperwork. They're still looking around like where the bullet come from. Could have been with a real killer. They could have been both knocked down quickly because they didn't react properly. They didn't react right.
One civilian receiving a wound to the chest. He's later taken to the hospital, according to NBC affiliate KFOR.
Paperwork still out.
While the
barely just getting on the walkie-talkie. Real cops who've been in situations like this would have automatically took cover. Their guns would have been out. These guys didn't even bring their guns out. They weren't, most likely in cities like this, they all know each other.
Sheriff's deputy is only grazed by the bullet. As the deputies and the wounded bystander take cover and call for backup, more shots ring out.
Oh yeah, she was trying to get some. She was out for blood.
What the heck?
Law enforcement expert Cheryl Dorsey weighing in on the incident.
Sometimes women are smaller frame and they have the ability to slip their hands through the cuff, even though the cuff may itself be locked.
It's not hard to get your hands out of a cuff if you're willing to go through some pain. And crazy as she is, she was a willing participant in the pain threshold of slipping your hand out of some cuffs that probably will scrape the skin off of your thumb knuckle, but it's possible.
With the arrival of backup begins an hours-long standoff as Clay barricades herself in the police car, refusing to emerge. After 3.5 hours of negotiations with police and the deployment of an...
Again, you have to give the police or the sheriff in this situation a lot of, kudos for not taking this woman out, because you shoot at an officer, hit an officer, they're out for blood. They want to set a precedence that you shoot at one of ours, we're going to tear, some flesh off you. So,
armored breaching vehicle, the woman finally surrenders.
If it means saving a life, you take as much time as you need in order to bring this tactical situation to a successful conclusion.
Court documents from her arraignment on Monday include notes she allegedly managed to write while barricaded, revealing her disturbed state of mind.
You know she's crazy if she's in the back seat writing notes, writing letters. But, she probably could have been writing letters to her family members like, you will never see me again, so this is the last time you'll hear from me. I love you.
Efforts to reach Clay were unsuccessful, and she was not represented by an attorney at her initial court appearance.
And it was a compilation of errors. I get that you want to have easy access to a AR-15, but not when you have a suspect in your vehicle. Another officer could have and should have been.
You can see she's admiring the gun like, Oh, this is a nice piece of hardware right here. What is this? A 223 or a 556? What's going on here? This is nice. This is a nice little piece of gun. Let me see how it shoots.
Could have and should have been monitoring visually the suspect who was seated behind the car.
Clay was charged with 3 counts of shooting with intent to kill, and according to court documents, is currently being held on $1 million bail.
Let's get to our next video where we see a guy who is a habitual speeder, reckless driver, and pretty much the city, it seems like to me, is trying to come together to stop this one guy because he's racking up tickets upon tickets and nothing's really happening to him. So let's get into this video, see what happens.
Nobody cares about reckless driving except old people. That's what one of
I can vouch for that. I'm an old person, so I think I can speak for old people. We do care about reckless drivers and, speeders, because it's a dangerous situation when you have people speeding through your neighborhood, reckless driving, spinning donuts, figure eight, and all that kind of stuff with a car. You might hit my fence. You're not going to pay for it. I'm going to have to pay for it. You might hit a person, and there's no way that you can pay for a life besides with time and your time, going to spend time in jail. But
Milwaukee's most persistent violators said just moments after a court hearing for driving with a revoked license.
Fox 6 investigator Brian Polson caught up with a young man police have pulled over 35 times in just 3 years.
I mean, I'll be in fast cars. What do you expect me to do?
What you might call reckless.
To be fair, when you're in a fast car, you have a fast car, you want to drive that car fast. You just don't want to drive it at the regular speed limit. But that's where restraint comes in being an adult. But this guy hasn't grown up yet. A lot of these dudes don't grow up until they're in their 40s, and sometimes they don't grow up in their 40s or 50s. So
y'all know what the going on. We on center with it.
It is fun driving a car fast, but you have to
24-year-old Dyrell Chaplin calls driving.
I'm just, going down the street, doing normal stuff.
Normal stuff like
running reds in broad day, that's me.
Blowing red lights, fleeing from police, and barreling down city streets at 20, 30.
And this goes to show you that the police stays on your social media feed. Once they get you, you're in their sights, they're going to do a name search. They're going to, when they get your phone, they're going to go through all your apps and try to find some more evidence on you to prove their case in court. And a lot of dudes don't know that they have a lot of these videos inside their gallery just waiting for the police to find
40 miles per hour or more over the limit.
That is speeding. It's not reckless driving.
Police across South.
Technically, speeding over a certain speed, going over the certain limit, like in my city or my state, if you go 15 miles over the speed limit, you're technically reckless driving because you're driving reckless. They have laws that state how much over the speed limit you go constitutes reckless driving. But he's young. He doesn't know that. He's never been in trouble. You could tell by just how free he is by talking to the news about his
Wisconsin
situation.
Have stopped Chaplin at least 35 times the past 3 years.
You got the worst driving record I've ever seen.
But it wasn't until June 10th that the Fox 6 investigators caught up with him.
Y'all knew I had a court date?
Yeah.
He obviously feels like he's some kind of celebrity now because, they're showing up. This is clout to him. You can tell he feels like this is clout. He's probably going to call everybody, I'm on Fox 6. Check me out. Look at me. It's me.
Inside the Waukesha County Courthouse.
They know what a joke it is.
Do you worry about killing yourself or someone else?
No, I'm going that crazy. There's kids out here that shaking their neck. I ain't doing all that. I'm just driving fast.
Last summer, police and sheriff's deputies in Milwaukee stopped Chaplin 8 times in a span of 33 days with no plates, no registration, no insurance, and no license.
All that is enough to get your car towed for at least 30 days. And you better have the money to get it out after 30 days because they're going to be looking at selling your car at the tow truck company. But That's like $1,000 alone. 30 days inside of a tow yard. Good luck getting that out. It don't look like he has the money to get out this, this well-looking car right here. It look like he has a nice car, but it don't look like he has enough money to get it out after 30 days. $1,200, $1,000, depending on what their rate is.
I ain't running the stop sign.
Dude, it's on camera, my guy.
I yield.
I'm not here to mess with you, bro.
And every time, they let him drive away illegally.
Why do you think that is?
Because there ain't nothing they can do about it.
But it's not just the driving that scares city residents.
What's the mentality behind this?
It's the mindset.
It don't even matter. People don't care about that. That just, the older people care about that.
Steve O'Connell chairs the Sherman Park.
He's kind of right on that. Young people don't care about that. Young people see somebody driving reckless, they're most likely to root them on. But
Reckless Driving Committee.
Someone like that, you're not going to change.
Jordan Morales is vice president of the Sherman Park Community Association board.
I did not sign up to get T-boned by a kid going 80 miles an hour.
Both push the city to install traffic calming features like speed humps and curb extensions to slow drivers down. But when it comes to the most persistent violators,
we just trying to get to where we going at a fast pace.
They say engineering is not enough.
I'd like that guy to go to jail and not pass go.
I can't just give you my name and stuff so I can hurry up the process because I already got to go.
Last month, Milwaukee police started towing reckless drivers under limited circumstances, like speeding 25 miles per hour or more over the limit in an unregistered car. But even when a driver meets both conditions, officers have an option.
We do not want officers waiting for tows for hours on end.
Since the tow policy took...
That's the only way you're going to clean up your streets is making officers do their job. If an officer's not being called to a active situation, what else do we have? He don't have to patrol, ride around all day. Let him do his job. Let him,
Effect May 1st.
Sometimes they have to
Police
wait.
have cited 320 drivers for going at least 25 over. They've towed 45 of
I bet none of these cars towed was his car. He probably still has his speeding right now.
their cars, or 14%. As for the rest,
I'm not worried about the plates or insurance or nothing.
an MPD spokesman says he does not know how many had unregistered cars because they do not track when an officer uses discretion.
This gentleman's car is a beautiful candidate.
Police have yet to tow Dyrell Chaplin's car.
How'd you get here today?
Can't say all that.
Since our investigation aired in April,
This dude reminds me of an Oakland kid, like one of them, one of them dudes from the Bay Area or something. He has that whole little Bay swag going on. That's how they talk, but I guess that lingo is getting everywhere, But
he says he's been feeling a little heat.
I mean, I ain't driving right now because my PO on my eyes.
So this time, when he
driving right now.
He got a ride.
Look,
Brian
they speeding
Polson,
out of the parking lot.
Fox 6 investigators.
I guarantee he's still driving right now. He just didn't drive to court. He's not that dumb. If they would have caught him driving up out of there on the spinning light, they for sure would have called and reported him. He would have got pulled over. And that would have been the first time that his car got towed because the police would have did their job at that point because they would have been put on the spot. But he's probably been pulled over a couple of times and allowed to drive off with a 35 times suspended license. Milwaukee, what are you guys doing? But this is ghetto news from my point of view. And I am Epic, and you already know what this is, Media Circus Online. So if you haven't already done so, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you can get all my new videos whenever I drop them. Until next time,